What is going on, my man, Andrew Calvino? How you doing today, my man?
You know what? I just wanted to say thank you so much for letting me on here. Absolutely incredible podcast, my man. And I'm doing incredible today.
Good, dude. We need that love in the community today, and I know the community definitely loves for you being here. And most importantly, thank you for your time, energy today, man. Because time is one thing that we cannot get back. So the pleasure is all mine. And use this platform to say whatever you need to say today and tell your story, man. So I want to start off by saying, how are you guys coping right now? You said you're over in Georgia. How are you guys coping right now with this all shutdown thing going on, the quarantine?
With the whole shutdown, we've been shut down with non-essential businesses and stay-at-home order the stay-at-home order just started yesterday, if I remember correctly, and all non-essential businesses, gyms, everything has been shut down for weeks already. But we're doing what we need to do,
Right.
and we'll get through this.
So we talked a little bit off air before we got on here, and I didn't really know what your job per se was. I just thought you were a pretty face for ghost company there, but found out that you're kind of in some insurance stuff, and you do deal with, because I saw your post yesterday, and you said you came in from the hospital and you had to, derobe at the door and take a shower and all that stuff. So I thought you were a nurse at first, but you're not. You're in insurance, and you're in and out of the hospitals quite a bit, man. How is that, man? You a little scared doing that, or are you starting to see some shit like kind of like on the front lines?
So normally my job, in an office in a setting away from patients. So, but still the second that I walk into the hospital, I'm thinking what patients have come through here. And you're thinking, or me primarily, I'm just scared while I'm at work, honest to God. And, but once I'm done with my main job, what I do with the insurance notification specialist, I go out and screen patients and all that. Just do what I need to do. Just protect myself as much as I possibly can. The second that I clock out and leave, I go straight home, and then I decontaminate. I take everything off the second that I get through that door and go straight shower, and just I don't go out anywhere else, just because of the fact that I work at a hospital. If I was that person that would go to the gym, that would go out and go do stuff like that, and I had it, COVID-19, with no symptoms, no nothing, and people were getting it around me, I would feel so bad.
Oh my God, man. And that's kind of like the reason why this is all going on, right? It's like, it's not that we're supposed to be trapped inside the house until this goes away. It's to give, like they say, flatten the curve, and to give the hospitals time to come up, and people come up with the government come up with a virus solution to the virus, so that there's not just an flux of people going into the hospitals. And I think that's the biggest thing right now. Like, I know a lot of people are really like, feel like a zoo animal here at home, but like, man, like, especially what you're doing, I know no one's doing that. And I think some of the instructions are kind of like, if you're out in the public, you go shopping, come home, take all that stuff off, man, wash it right away, hop in the shower. Is that something that were you coached on something like that before you went, as this was happening, as you go back into the hospitals for your job? Like, were you sat down and like, hey, listen, this is what needs to be happening? Or are you kind of like on your own with that?
We're kind of on our own. So, so management obviously tries their hardest to initiate protocols within the hospital to protect the employees and whatnot, but they're not telling you to decontaminate the second that you get home. And it's basically, how do I word this? Basically, it's like you're on your own.
Wow.
Yeah.
What kind of steps are they doing as you walk into the hospitals? Is kind of that all different now? Like, is there people checking people as they come in, like with the guns? I mean, I know you've seen that a lot too, where people are checking temperatures, and it has a lot to do with it, and things like that nature.
Yeah. So basically, there's two individuals. There's two individuals at each entrance of my hospital. My hospital now only has 3 ways to get access into it. All other doors have been closed. No visitors are allowed for patients. Like, that's it. Like, this is like code 0. You're not getting in if you don't need to get in.
Wow.
And basically there's a thermometer gun, and if you hit temperature over like 100, 101, you immediately have to call a number to inform your supervisor or whoever it is that's your immediate boss. And then you need to contaminate for, I believe, 12 to 24 hours, just to see if that was just at that second, at that moment. And if it continues, just, nah, you're staying home. That's it.
Wow.
Game.
Well, man, scary times we're living in right now. Scary times, man, for sure, man. It's just like, I couldn't even imagine having to go. I mean, and that's why we say, right? Like right now, the people that are wearing, the capes and that are the heroes right now are, individuals that are nurses and doctors and have to be there every single day. And it's like some of the guys and girls that fall through the cracks. Like I had no idea that you would even be allowed to still go ahead and do your job in the hospital. So dude, you're doing it as well. And I think you guys kind of fall through the cracks where people don't even understand that there's people like going in for insurance like you that are really looking at these things. So dude, thank you for actually putting yourself out there on the front line. Whatever, what you may or may not think about it, it's, you're doing your job and you're putting yourself in a shitty position. Like you don't have to do that. Like you could be like, you know what? Fuck off. I'm staying home. I don't want to do that. But you kind of have to in a sense because you're doing a service for someone else as well, correct?
Yeah. So thank you for saying that, man. Like at times I don't like when people say like, thank you for your service or thank you for still doing your job in the hospital. I'm just thinking like it's the same job before all of this went down. But then I'm thinking about it and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a little bit more intense situation with what's currently happening. So, but I just hope that everything within 2-4 weeks, maybe even 6 weeks, just calms down and just gets back to normal.
Oh, I think a lot of people, need hugs and kisses right now, man. I think it's one of those things where it's tough not to be able to just even like give dabs to someone that you see in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Like it's tough, man. Yeah. It's tough just not to even shake someone's hand and just, what's up? And I think I'm hoping that this whole situation will shed a lot of light on what we actually take for granted a lot. And I think just shaking hands and giving someone a hug and a kiss in the cheek, it's like a lot of people aren't even seeing their families, which is you're not supposed to be, but a lot of people aren't seeing their families. And I know that we take that stuff for granted more times than not, right?
Yeah. So yesterday was like a real self-realization for me because I was thinking like, man, I just got off work. My normal schedule I would be able to just go to a coffee shop and have a cup of coffee on my way home just to relax or do whatever. Right. And I'm like, I would never, like once all this is over and said and done with, that date night that I would have with my wife in downtown, I would certainly not take that for granted ever again.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, that is the same thing here. It's like every day, I'm a trainer and a coach too, and I do a lot of online stuff, but it's like I work from home primarily, but dude, there's a ton of days, more than 80%, 90% of the days where it's like, I got to get the hell out of the house to go sit at a coffee shop to like really focus on work and get things done. So there's no distractions. That's not happening right now. There's a lot of distractions, It's just tough right now. And I hope people really understand like how humbling it really is to get everything kind of yanked away from you at once. And I think, and I've also heard stories where a lot of people on Twitter are talking to Lane Norton, whether it's true or not. I always give people the benefit of the doubt, but a lot of people are going on there saying like, hey, this isn't a joke anymore. A lot of people are still joking about it like it's just a flu strain, and it's people's parents and grandparents and people are dying, man. And it's like, hey, I just lost my grandparent to it or something like that. And, Lane says nothing but hearts back. And it's like, man, like that shit makes it pretty fucking real, man.
So, not breaking HIPAA or not breaking anything, but there was a relatively young patient that came in through the door, absolutely had to be intubated at that current point in time. They did a full screen up of this patient just to see what it was. Everything was coming back negative for everything else. They intubated this patient, and straight up, once the results came back, COVID-19. So this was a relatively young person. So straight up, that literally made me open up my eyes and was like, this is real. And this is like going to hit hard if people just keep on screwing around, living their normal daily lives as if nothing's changed.
Man, that's heavy shit, man. It just goes to show you, like, they have no idea what this thing can actually do. They just don't know. So at first they set standards, what they think is a standard of, it just hits, older people, right? Like, no, yeah. That's what it started as. And now it's like 1 or 2 or 3 of these cases come in where, kids can't be touched, or, young kids and preborns can't be touched. Now we're starting to see studies come back on that stuff too. And Now I think everyone should kind of think of it not as like the flu anymore. Like this is a serious thing. And even the town that I live in and the town right next to us as well, both of the mayors went on and they went around to every single park district, every single jungle gym in the area. There's caution tape and everything around everything. Like they don't even want anyone remotely close to it, because a couple weeks ago, you saw families playing on swings and shit. And it's just like, well, for home, I might as well take my kids out. And I understand, like, your kids are probably driving you nuts and they're driving themselves nuts and they don't know what's going on. They want to know why we can't go outside. And there's no way they can understand what's going on. But those precautions now have to be taken because it is getting that serious. And that just happened this other week. And it's, that's kind of scary, man. Like, these normal places that have hundreds and hundreds of people at every single day in the area, it's really active where I'm at, they're not there anymore. It's a ghost town. Now it's kind of like, you need to stay the fuck home.
Jeez.
But let's turn the page a little bit and smile a little bit. What's going on?
Yeah.
So I want to talk about what kind of got you in the fitness industry and all of that stuff. And guys, before we move, turn the page really quick with Andrew here. Those are just things that we need to talk about all the time. And especially right now, it is the topic. It is the topic of conversation. And I know a lot of people are trying to stray away from the news and are getting all the information from Facebook and Instagram and yada, 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 all these Google searches and shit. We need to talk about it. It needs to be important. You need to understand really what's going on. And that was just another, it was just another topic, another chapter of, Andrew is on the front line. He sees it on the front line and it's real. And so we just really need to touch base on those things. So that's kind of going to be the podcast going forward. The first 10 minutes are probably going to be talked about it, but I wanted to bring Andrew on to know more about his story. We had just connected on, little backstory of us. We just connected on Instagram not too long ago. We connected through his page mainly because on Ghost, you got a hold of me, I got a hold of you. We said, what's up? And I love the positivity that you spread all the time on Instagram, man. And every time I have a tweet or something positive, you always, text me back saying, dude, awesome. Love the positivity. You always share it to your story. So dude, I love that about you. Please don't ever stop being you and stop being that, man. So I really do appreciate that. But what kind of got you into that? Like, what's the background story on that? What kind of got you in the fitness industry?
Okay. So I'm going to start from the beginning. Basically, I was like a high school, 120-pound kid. Couldn't gain weight to save my life. And just basically extremely fast metabolism. And I had like body image issues. I had low confidence. I was a very negative person, negative mindset that would just say like, you can't do this because you're not good enough. And even if I would take that action to do it, I would just constantly be telling myself, you're going to fail. So initially, I believe like August of 2018, I set up my first fitness photo shoot down in Miami. And it was focused on a certain brand that I really love. And I was just putting myself out there. And me making that decision to put myself out there more, it changed my life completely. My mindset, everything just changed. And instead of saying you're not good enough, F it, go fucking do it.
Right.
And it just changed everything. So then January of 2019, I made a conscious effort to increase the quality of my content and put myself even more out there, YouTube channels, everything. And I just started posting more about fitness, brands that I genuinely care about and love what they're about. Then April is when I joined Ghost on the takeover team. And I just started pushing it even more further and further of what was possible, of putting myself out there, connecting with people, whether it's in the fitness community or individuals such as yourself that are posting positive things to help elevate people to another level. So that's kind of my background story. That's who I am as a person. And yeah, I'll continue being that person for sure.
Dude, I love it. I love hearing the tales of adversity and what kind of the paths that we take to get us where we're actually at today. And it's just amazing. Put yourself out there. And it's like, if you had never taken those steps, you question, where would you be? I think that's a huge thing too. It's like, if you just kept, being that introverted type of person and kind of have that weak mindset, it's like, you would have never been the person that you are today. It's like, now it's like, you're the face of your page. You're the face of Ghost. Like, you're doing those things and putting yourself out there. And I think it's an amazing tale to tell people, you know? So congratulations on that, man. And that's what it's all about here at the Everyday Growth Podcast. It's about being 1% better every single day, you know? So where does that kind of lead you and set you up for? Like, are you trying to still, I know you have a wonderful job now, full-time job, and you're doing the ghosting kind of on the side. And would you like to get more into the fitness realm of things and kind of start splitting time back and forth? Or where do you see yourself, and where do you see that going?
So if one day I would be able to leave the medical field, hospital billing, whatever you call it, and focus on fitness, primarily representing Ghost one day as an ambassador or athlete level, that would be incredible. But I'm thinking more and more about going either back to school for marketing, or business, or as a lifestyle coach. I've been thinking about that recently. So there's many avenues on what I can do. I just need to make that choice and do it.
There's always a ton of avenues of what we can do, man. I love it too. And it's like, you look at everything and you're like, well, I can do whatever the fuck I want. It's never like I can't do that. And I think that's a great thing about it. And like, hey, that may change in the next 6 months to a year. You know what I'm saying? You might be like, I really want to focus on this now. But I did notice the other day, and I just put two and two together because I did not know it was you, that you started a new Instagram page. What's that all about?
Oh, so Content Inspired. Yeah, I should have gave you a heads up on that. But basically,
I just saw it one day, man. I was like, what is this, man?
Okay, so yeah, so basically, I love photographers, videographers, people that create content, right? And high level videography, stuff like that. And I was sharing it on my page, on my personal page. And I was doing it so frequently that I was like, is there a page like this that is sharing photographers, videographers, content creators, and just sharing their work? And I was looking and I'm like, I'm not really seeing that. So I just decided, why not make a page? And it's a great way to network with people who are really doing incredible things out there. There's one person that I remember off the top of my head, Sam J. Kelly in France, that he just shot for an athlete for Under Armour, a video campaign. And just seeing that, him doing that, I'm like, his work has reached an incredible level. So why not share who he is as a person?
Dude, that's huge, man. That's huge. It's almost like, I think a lot of people lose that too. And it's like, they have their own personal pages and they kind of don't want to share their stuff without anybody else, and unless they're selling it and making a buck off of it. And it's like, dude, the pie's big enough for all of us to take a bite out of. Like, why not share? And now, so if you put all those people together, it's like a Rolodex, right? You can just go right in, pick the person that you want in the area, anywhere close, do some work for them, send them some videos. They can probably do some stuff. So you're really putting it out there like, hey, check out this page, check out all these people, and come show it off. I think that's great, man. Is that kind of something that you just love to do, or is that a hobby of yours too? Or you would like to kind of get into something like that?
Well, since I started a YouTube channel, I was getting more into blogging and whatnot. So basically getting in contact with all the videographers that I know on a personal basis, whether it's through Ghost or other things, I just started appreciating it on another level. So basically just sharing it was just coming out of a hobby. But yeah, I've been certainly advised that creating this page and creating a Rolodex, a market for individuals to share themselves and be found easier. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And just the fact that I'm pinpoint locating them. I'm using all the hashtags that are specific to their area, to their market, to their everything. I'm just hoping that they're able to be seen even more for their value, for what they bring to the table.
And you're asking nothing for this, right? This is just something that you're doing.
I'm asking nothing. This is just something that I'm doing. If it does reach to a certain level one day where it blows up and it gets huge and I'm able to monetize off of it, great. But I'm not even thinking about that now, because this is just starting from my genuine love from what they're creating as creators.
Dude, that's so cool. That's just so cool. So are you actually taking time? Well, until it gets big enough, right? People are gonna start finding you. And then for now, you're just kind of going on and just looking up videographer, photographer, and kind of saying, hey, like DMing them saying like, hey, what's up? Can I share your shit?
So literally, since my main page, I have so many photographers and videographers that I've already networked with on a personal level. Yeah, I'll DM them. I'll message them and say, hey, do you have a picture of you with your camera, or do you have a picture of yourself that you've edited, whatever the case may be, so I could share you, not just like a model that you've shot before. Like, I want to put a face onto who you are, because most photography pages out there have all their work lined up, but you will never know how this photographer looks, and you're just there like, oh, okay. So I was just there like, let me just showcase who you are, give you a little bit of background on, or like, what do you specialize in, more photography? There's one individual, if I remember correctly, or Rita, blog, and she has a blog about photography. Why is it beneficial to shoot in the golden hour? Why do you not need Photoshop to take breathtaking photos? And offering free presets. So I'm just stating everything that she's doing.
Wow.
And putting herself out there.
Dude, that's so wild, man. That's so wild. And I think the artists do, until they make it big, the artists kind of do get lost. You know, they get lost in the making of these things. And it's almost like the model takes the cake. You know, it's like the model. And like, you always know there's a great photographer, a great artist behind those pieces and those photos. But until they come to the forefront and they get recognized, a lot of them don't want to get recognized. A lot of them are kind of, that's cool. I shoot the models. I don't want to be the face of the company. But in this day and age, man, I think all artists, if you're listening, you need to get out in the forefront. You need to do things like this, put yourself out there, because like, today's the day and age where you can do that. And that's the whole point behind it. Put your shit out there. Let people judge for it. But until then, be confident in what you're doing. If they like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't. You lost nothing. You know, it's just like, get your shit out there, or find Andrew, and Andrew will put you on there, right?
Oh, thanks.
So what's going on for the rest of, so you have any more photo shoots kind of set up, or how does that work with Ghost, and how often are you working with them? Are you traveling a lot with this?
So the only traveling that I'm doing with Ghost currently is when I drive about an hour and a half, 2 hours to Atlanta, and I visit all the GNCs in the area. And I make sure that they're stocked up with samples and all that. Due to COVID-19, not doing that currently, but once the situation is handled and everything is good again, boom, I'll do that again. But that's the only traveling that I'm doing for Ghost. Photo shoots, Ghost will inform me about specific launches, things that are happening within the future. And then I'll set up a photo shoot or video shoot around that, whether it's the product or me working out with the product, whatever the case may be, just to give even more hype or whatever the case may be for launch day.
Do they have like a blueprint for you? Is it kind of just like whatever you feel like doing that day, how you feel like shooting it? Or
so the one amazing thing that when I joined Ghost, they told me, hey, we like you as a person. That's the main reason why we asked you to join the family, because you've been supporting for so long. It's whatever you want to do.
Dude, that's so awesome. And that's probably another reason why you went with them, right? Like, after they told you, you're probably like, perfect. This is what we need to be doing.
So my main focus was to get with Ghost the whole entire time. So literally other offers that I got from other supplement companies, whatever the case may be, I didn't even question them. Like, literally, Ghost was the goal to get with, and that was it. So
how did that kind of come about?
So I was just posting the supplements that I was using from Ghost daily for about a year and a half, and sharing the launches that I was very passionate about and excited for, whether it was the sour green apple Warheads Legend flavor that came out, that anything that really just got me hyped, I was more than happy to share. Then I realized certain things, that events were happening in Chicago, events were happening in Las Vegas, Olympia time. And I'm like, you know what? Atlanta needs some love. So I got in contact with certain people, and they were just there like, you know what? Just join the team. Join the team, because we've been noticing you for a minute.
That's awesome, man. And obviously you're an OG of that supplement, but you were using that well before you started hooking up with them, right? So you really are passionate about the brand.
Yeah, so basically, I got asked, how did I find the brand? Did I find it through social media? Did I find it through an athlete? And I was like, nope, I literally just walked into a GNC one day, saw the product on the wall, and I was impressed since day one. So yeah, it was interesting to say the least.
And they have like it's hard not to notice them, you know, like everything from their protein to like their like you said, the warhead and everything like that. Their pre-workouts, like their packaging's gorgeous. Their
Oh,
symbols, they're you know, the symbol's amazing. You know, it's iconic. It's, I mean, no one else has anything quite like it. But even their protein, like the way that the jugs are designed and how the colors are on them, and like it sticks out a little bit as opposed to the regular shit that's on the shelf. The simple black says protein. It's a little bit different than that.
yeah. So Dan and Ryan, the owners of Ghost, all that good fun stuff. They're really like they're geniuses in my opinion because they think outside the box. They'll look at like inspiration of like colorways from shoes. They'll think outside the box in regards to the branding, the company. I know at headquarters, the design team, they're constantly just pushing the envelope on what's possible. And if I remember correctly, when our grapefruit legend came out, the outside packaging looks like the peel of a grapefruit. It feels like it feels like it. And then the inside powder is the actual color of the inside of a grapefruit. Like there's just so many things that
Wow.
just are insane.
And that's called going above and beyond, unlike every
Yeah.
other supplement fucking company out there. But that's
Yeah.
just, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they're young dudes, right?
Yeah, they're relatively young dudes, like Dan and Ryan. I don't know exactly how old they are, but yeah, they're relatively young guys.
Right on, man. And how long has Ghost been around?
So we just celebrated our third birthday last year, so
Holy cow.
we should be coming up on our fourth relatively soon this year.
They got big quick. That's all I got to say.
Well, they came out with uh, an idea, a brand, and everything just came together real quick. And I know that when, if I remember correctly, the Chips Ahoy protein that was launched, they were in contact with Chips Ahoy before the official launch of Ghost. So they've already been doing their
Oh,
thing. They've contacted companies out there and had designs and everything ready before their first launch.
damn. They did it. And they're still doing it. And that was an awesome protein too. That was a killer protein.
Hands down, that's my favorite one so far.
Hell yeah. Have they come out with anything that like has not been around for a while, like just a one run of something? Like I know a lot of like they do that too, like more like pre-workouts though, right? They'll come out for just a little bit of time and then kind of
Yeah,
pull them.
so so they'll do like athlete exclusive pre-workouts. So I know Christian Guzman has had like three pre-workout versions for with us. And then Max Tuning recently just launched the strawberry daiquiri. Oh, so good, dude. And I believe that they're getting ready. They just announced it on the YouTube channel. The whiskey sour legend with Rob Lipsett. So
Damn.
yeah, I'm excited for that one.
I'm gonna check that one out for sure, man. It's been
Yeah,
a
dude.
minute. It's been a minute. I think I had probably one of Max's back in the day. Probably last year I had one of Max's. It was very good. The pre-workout was good too. It didn't just kick your ass like most pre-workouts are that are out there. It actually worked. It actually worked, gave you good energy, sustainable energy, and you didn't have those shitty crashes afterwards. Which I think what I look for a pre-workout is that's exactly what I want. I don't want to take something. If I do take something, I don't want to leave the gym, still have the jitters, and then later basically get the cold sweats that come down off a pre-workout. It's like, what are we doing here? You know?
Yeah, that's one of the first time that I took Legend Blue Raspberry, like one of the first OG flavors. I tried it. Good, smooth, clean energy that wasn't overpowering and no crash. And I was like, damn, this is good.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm looking for. And ever since then, that was it. Hooked.
Dude, that's awesome to have like those two big names too of Christian and Max on there too. Like that's gigantic, man. I'm sure they're helping out the company a lot. They're probably all best friends by now, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hands down. I know that when Christian, I believe on his YouTube channel, he had Dan and Ryan visit Alpha Land and stuff like that for that new whole big giant facility that he's creating out there.
Silly.
The Disneyland of fitness world. That's what it's going to be.
Dude, I keep watching those videos and my mouth is just on the ground. Like, what did that take? You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to get a loan? You had to get the bank. It's a loan that costs the size of a bank for you to start something like that. You know, like, good on those guys. They work their asses off. I know Christian and Max have been working their asses off for a very long time. And man, Christian's been doing it for a long time. He's been on YouTube. Same with Max, right? They've been on probably 10 years, maybe. I don't know the exact time, but
they've been on for a long time, and they were just consistent with their content, and they just kept on pushing it, getting better. And then when it all exploded, it was just the perfect time. So for Christian to, if I remember correctly, his apparel company was CG Fitness first, because it was just 100% personal branding. Then he sat down and got with people or had the initial idea of Alpha Elite. Then from that, Alpha Elite Gym. Then from Alpha Elite Gym, I believe it went from 3D energy drinks, and now Alpha Land. And Max is just another one of those geniuses that started Ever Forward based on his personal designs, his fashion choices, what he's genuinely into. And then recently just launched Actual Candy, the Sour Strips Candy Company. And yeah, those are really good, by the way. And those guys are just geniuses. They just keep on pushing it to excel in every single aspect of their lives.
Yeah, I haven't gotten my hands on the sour strips yet. I know they're very, very hard to get a hold of. You know, they're obviously nowhere out here, but they've been on back order. I mean, they're gone in 30 seconds or something like that. Like 30 minutes of a launch, like completely gone. You can't get. I think my buddy it was like 3 launches before he got one single bag, and I was like, holy shit, man! Like,
so send me a text. I got some. I have a lot of sour strips because luckily I walked into a nutrition store, mom and pop nutrition store. I walked in just to see a buddy of mine, and I saw all the sour strips that this guy has purchased to sell at his supplement store, and I go, oh, that's it. I'm buying all of them right here and there.
Good on him. Smart, because I mean, dude, I'm sure, because I know Max now is in a couple gas stations and things like that with the sour strips. And but dude, I'm sure companies, when they order them, they probably want to get a ton, because as soon as someone knows that they're there, it's like, boop, gone. You know, everyone's going to go right to your store, take them all off your hands immediately. And no one's buying one bag. Let's face it. No one's buying one bag.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they're killing it, man. You know what's really cool is I've been talking to Chase Tuning a little bit through the DMs, and I had him on a live the other day, and a live Instagram thing the other day. And now actually starting Monday, he's going to help me kind of walk through this beta testing. He took like 11 people to go through this beta testing of how to launch your podcast correctly, what you should and shouldn't be doing, takes a look at your podcast, what are you doing, and also like clients and fitness and everything that you're doing. He's just like basically doing this it's a beta test. So basically he's doing it for nothing. And he's just going to try to help push people through. So his Chase Tuning has Ever Forward Radio, which is obviously a play on with his brother Max. And I mean, that's killing it. His podcast is destroying. That's what he does full time now, is he goes around with his podcast and does interviews with people. He does on-site interviews. That's like his specialty. Mm-hmm. He just sits down with them and does that stuff. So I know that Ever Forward brand is, I mean, it's just like this with those guys, man. It's never ending. And they're super young, you know. I had Chase on the Instagram Live. I think he said he was 34 years old. And I told him, like, damn, I'm around a bunch of young people. I'm the oldest one.
You know what? Since I'm 28 and I get messages from like 18, 19-year-olds that are just there like, yo, how is my Instagram page doing? What do you think I should be doing better? And I'm just there like, dude, you're 18, 19 years old. You have all the time in the world to post, to do your thing, to put yourself out there. I started realistically when I was 26. If I would have started when I was 21 or 22, where would I be now? But I'm not going to think that way. Just the fact that I started, boom, we're good. The fact that we started and you're doing this, we're good.
Right. Yeah. It's always, thank you for that. It's always taking that momentum, right? Like once that snowball starts rolling down that hill, like, don't let it stop rolling and keep focusing on that. And like, I say that all the time too. I'm like, there's been a couple nights too where I'm just like so beaten up and it's like, man, I think I started too late. My girlfriend's like, dude, shut up. Like, listen to you. She's like,
Yeah.
she's like, all the content that you put in and put out and listen to Gary Vee and all that shit. She's like, he says that all the time. Like, dude, it's not even remotely close. Like, I'm 38, so it's not even remotely close to halftime for me. But now it's like, now I know what I need to do. And I love doing the podcast. I love interviewing people like you and hearing stories of, small to big adversities and what the future may look like or in hold. And it's like getting around people like this and just having these conversations. Like, people, you need to have conversations. That's why you have to get around the people in your niche, in that crowd, like we would have never had this conversation if we weren't in that same niche, around the same fitness or same nutrition. Like, we would have no idea who we were around. I would never have met you just because of insurance. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would have never happened.
So, Tyler from Ambition Threads, the shirt that you're wearing.
Yes.
Basically, I saw that you did a podcast with him, that you had him on here, and that's what put you on my radar, because I'm like, okay, Tyler is a really cool guy. The marketing that he's doing for Ambition Threads is like next level sick, and that's what put you on my radar. Then I was just like, man, the positivity that this guy has, that's it. Like, this is good. This is good for me to be following on a daily basis.
That's awesome, man.
You put Chase Tuning on my radar because I was familiar with him being Max's brother, right? But just you and him talking on that live was on point.
Dude, thank you so much. I've heard very little feedback from that live, but that felt like we've known each other for 10 years. And that's exactly what I love to see in people. When you can just communicate with someone so freely, it's like, you're on the same level, you're in the same niche, like I always like to say. But it's really just understanding that these conversations have to happen and that positivity has to be spread. And I got onto, I don't even take, Gentry's page. We hooked up through someone else's page. Next thing I know, I'm like, dude, what's Ambition all about? And he's like, oh, that's my clothing company. And I'm like, get out of here. I'm like, you got to come on the cast. And ever since then, man, like, he's the kind of like the sponsor of the podcast. He's in my intro every time. And he gave us the everyday code for 20% off. It's a forever code, so you can use it as many times as you would like. It's 20% off. I get nothing from it. I get no kickbacks, no free merch, no nothing. I'm trying to help him out as much as I can. All I get is that 20% off. So that's all I say to people. I buy the clothes and I pay 20% off. So I'm getting nothing back. I would never do something like that. But he's a dude. What a fucking amazing dude. Like, I talked to him, man. It's like, how much more pure of a guy can you actually be? Like, seriously.
So there's a takeover team member in Tennessee by the name of Joe Perry Carter. And he was like, yo, you should really check out this clothing line, that everything that it stands for is just like, it's perfect for me. So then I checked it out and I was like, okay, who's the guy that's behind it? Who's the person that's like the message? And that was Tyler. So then we haven't had the chance to link up yet due to life and all this crazy stuff. But I know the next time that I'm in Tennessee, I'll definitely be hitting him up.
Yeah, dude, right on. He said he was trying to, his next big move has to do something with his clothes. I don't know if it happened already, but I know he's really, really, really hitting a lot of video scene, a lot of photo shoots, a lot of videographers are following him around now. He's doing a lot of stuff on YouTube and videos, which is, I think, exactly where he needs to be to blow up his brand. Because I think his stuff I think he's got a good eye for apparel. Yeah. And I think the stuff wears great. And I think it could be the next biggest thing. And I've already told him, like, dude, when I look at your stuff, like, especially his yellow with the black triangle, his black symbol right in the middle, that's all it is, his yellow hoodie. Like, dude, that right away, does that not scream like Christian Guzman's wear? Like, I see that right away. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, it looks and feels like that. And I think he's got something really started. And that's why I wanted to bring him on the podcast. And that's why I wanted to give the community, have him give the community that gift of that 20% off. Because, dude, I believe in that brand as much as he does. Because I know who he is. I'm getting to know who he is even more every single day. But it's like, dude, when you have that drive, that ambition, that love for just putting out positivity and have that work ethic that he has, dude, that's what everybody needs right now. And why not support something like that?
Yeah, you're 100% right about that. Like honestly, I think ambition will go extremely extremely far for real.
So, bro, I want to say thanks for coming on. And where can everyone find you at? What's that new Instagram? What's your Instagram now? Everyone kind of check you out and get a hold of you and see what you're doing for Ghost, man. I think that's a huge thing that you're doing, and I think it's quite a cool passion that you're following with that. And I see it. I mean, your last 20 posts are great. Whoever's taking your pictures, number one, are awesome pictures because you look fucking phenomenal in there, and the products look
Thank you.
phenomenal. And everyone who sees this on YouTube later, don't be sketched out that his head is shaved and the beard is gone, because all his pictures he's got hair, he's got the beard on. So when I saw that post last night, like I had to double check to see if it was on the right Instagram page. I'm like, that is it? Holy shit, you know?
Yeah,
But where can everybody find you at, man?
Instagram, Andrew Calvino Fitness. And then the new IG page that's focused for creators and sharing photographers and videographers is Content Inspire.
Yeah, you guys go check out Andrew on both of his pages and definitely follow his brand new page. And go, if you guys are a videographer or photographer and you hear this, hit him up. He'll put you on there. You guys can DM back and forth and probably hop on a phone call. He'll help you out. Like you said, he's getting nothing from it. He's just putting out that love, that inspiration, everything you guys should be doing. Bro, thank you so much for coming on, man. I love everything that you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on here. And you're an awesome guy, my man.
Dude, thank you so much. Until next time, brother, thank you for your time and your energy. Community, please subscribe. Please follow Andrew and everything that he's doing on his new conquest that he wants to take over the world with. Follow Ghost and follow all that good stuff. And you guys, like I like to always say, thank you so much for your time and your energy, because time is one thing we cannot get back. And without you, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. And probably without you, Andrew and I probably would have never met. So much love to you guys going out there. And Andrew, much love to you too, dude. Thank you so much.
Later, man.